I'll have Lee send you the information from who we ordered from online. We just got the order. That's why I'm wondering if you start yeah.
This looks like we're sitting in the cars out there.
Oh, that's Justin. Yes, and the materials for sure in. Good.
So that's not how it's starting well. Now, every time we offer more things, not so great, but today hasn't been the day, right? So sometimes that drives people away.
Coming up 76, or even coming down 173, when fire department came to on their little.
No, they did this morning. No, they did.
I was on the marquee this morning.
Did they have it out there? Okay, good.
Yep.
Well, I only noticed it.
Yeah, I was going west, so, I'm going back up to see what he did, so. Good. That's what I was worried about, that,
The house was crashing.
and I don't know if it rained up there, but.
This is one of those things. Just know what are you gonna do about this? I don't know. We're trying to do everything we can.
Oh my God. Huh.
Yes.
Looks like you're ready. You guys all ready?
Sure. Like we did last time, next step forward.
Yep.
You're on Mexican line for the village.
Yeah. I have a slew of masks that I'm looking at.
Just use the podium.
Hey, Dan, how are you?
I'm good.
I'm gonna go with the highway department.
Hello, hello, hello.
I got my pen right here.
You're right, I'm just a strange person.
Only if I could be a lowly deputy in the highway department.
Stop it. You guys ready?
Roving deputy?
Gentlemen, you ready? Pam, you ready?
He's all live?
I think so, yeah.
We're on Facebook.
Okay.
Just a second, Mayor, we're gonna get up
Sure.
here.
Did you tell them who was coming? I didn't get something.
Right, so good with this plan?
So does he need time to set up? Do you need time to set? Okay.
Carl's.
Okay. Carl, we ready to roll?
No.
You guys all ready?
Ready as we're gonna be. I haven't thrown anything yet, so.
Okay. Good afternoon from Belvedere. Last week we came to you and we spoke about the fact that we might be moving into a different significance in the COVID infection. Well, we're there. And so today we just wanted to visit with you again from our leadership group and talk about the things that we are going to be on point about doing. We have a problem to solve, and we will do this the way we've done everything throughout COVID. We'll face it head on. We'll do what we need to do to get our positivity rate within a boundary that it needs to be for us. And I'd be remiss if I did not address the fact that there is a general feeling here that the dynamics that were used to determine the positivity rate for us were perhaps not as applicable as they might have been to the entire region. Having said that, we will do our very best to lower our positivity rate, and then we'll again address how applicable it is to us. But we're a team, and we all work together every day, and we will get through this like we've gotten through everything else. We would just ask the community to do a few simple things: wash your hands, wear a mask, go out in public, stay 6 feet apart from other folks, spend as much time as you can outdoors with your pod, but try to stay out of large crowds. And remember, you never know who in your group might be one who doesn't exhibit symptoms and may be passing this on. So be cognizant of where you are, who you're with, because if something happens, be sure you can share with our tracers, the folks that you've been with, so we can put an end to this as soon as possible. Having said that, Amanda Mail, who is our lead and director for the health department, will talk about specifically where we are. Amanda?
Great, thank you. Thank you very much, Mayor Chamberlain, and good afternoon to our local community here in Belvedere and Boone County, and to our Rockford region, and to our community here as we stand before you to really discuss the challenging news that we did receive yesterday afternoon. We knew that our numbers in the region as far as positivity rate was creeping closer and closer towards 8%. Today marks the third consecutive day of having a regional positivity rate at or above 8%, which has triggered our entire 9-county Rockford region to enter into regional mitigation per the Department of Public Health's and J.B. Pritzker's Restore Illinois reopening phase-in plan. And so we are working here locally together. I am pleased to stand before all of you with my colleagues by my side. This is a challenge that we have to deal with, to what the mayor said. We will continue to commit to supporting our local leadership and our local community through these challenging times. We have an obligation to track our numbers here locally, to provide information to the state, to provide our local recommendations to what we're seeing. We do believe that we have a pulse on the community and what's happening here locally, and we will continue to be transparent and forward with that information. The other 7 administrators that I work with here in the region that man and woman the 9 county health departments here in our Rockford region have been working tirelessly over the last week and a half to take a look at this complex challenge, figure out what our local numbers say, figure out what the next couple weeks to the next month or so need to look like, and who do we most need to support. And we need to make sure that we keep people safe and healthy, but we also need to commit to continuing to support our local businesses and our local economy. Health and well-being is not just a confirmation of COVID-19, but it's also mental health. It is community health. It is economic stability. It is regional growth. It is relationships between families and community members. And we would be remiss in public health if we didn't address that those are issues and challenges that we're faced with right now as we speak. So I thank you so much for the opportunity to stand here before you and stand up here with my colleagues. And I would like to turn it back over to Mayor Chamberlain at this time.
Thank you, Amanda. Key word here is community and community participation. And again, this is a hard pill right now because our businesses are starting to have equity again. They've been making a little money. This isn't anything that just affects them. It is a community-wide effect. people have been let off a lot of steam lately, but it's been healthy for their mental health. And we think that that's part of the issue, as Amanda has said. So community, please work with us. These rules are passed down for a reason. We may not agree with all of it, but for us to move forward, we need to get our positivity rate, I would say, in the 3 to 4% range as soon as possible for 3 consecutive days.
So Mayor brings up a good point. We need to have a positivity rate at the regional level at or below 6.5% for 3 consecutive days. So we not only have to drop below 8% as a region, we have to sustain a positivity rate of 6.5% or below for 3 consecutive days. And if we could get a positivity rate in the 3s or the 4s, that would be even better. But 6.5 or below will get us out of mitigation, and we'll be able to move forward with a lot of the activities that we have been enjoying during Phase 4 of Restore Illinois.
Well, this is Belvedere, so we always aim high. I'd like to introduce Owen Costanza, the president of Poplar Grove, who would also like to make some comments to you this afternoon. Owen?
Yeah, as we move into this, I was out with all of our restaurant owners last night discussing everything. It's, they're just getting back. So the quicker that we all can move forward, the testing vehicle was up in the Village of Poplar Grove at the fire station today, the better. So I'm told more testing is what we need to do. So encourage everybody to do that. Mr. Chairman, Carl Johnson, you're next. We didn't get an order, so.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Thanks for coming. I'm going to echo a little bit about what the mayor said and what Owen said. This, we may not like this. In fact, some of us dislike it immensely, and I know the business owners, this is a big blow to them. Regardless of how we feel about this situation, we've been dealt a hand from the higher-ups that we don't have much choice over. And the only thing we can do is try to talk to them to see if they'll understand the dynamic we have here and how it affects our local community. And then encourage, as the mayor and Amanda and Mr. Costanza did, encourage individuals to continue the precautions. I don't think anybody is excited about any of these precautions, and we're all sick and tired of it. It's been too long, but it's what we have to go through right now. And Mayor says this a lot, that we will get through this, like Americans always do. But again, we're working behind the scenes to try and do things to help our businesses, and there's grant opportunities, things like that we're continuing to push out and give them ideas on and things they can apply for, and any help they need, we encourage them to call, whether it's the county admin office, Village of Poplar Grove City Hall, Belvedere City Hall, Health Department, wherever they feel they might be able to get an answer. If they can get a hold of somebody, we encourage them to call. But we're here, we're working hard and trying to do everything we can and encouraging them to take the steps they need individually, because we know this isn't necessarily just coming from bars and restaurants and those businesses. Unfortunately, they're the ones that are taking the brunt of the edicts. So let's do what we can so that these people can get back to work and keep their families fed also. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Well, at this point, split the coin. Amy Grafton from the Chamber of Commerce. Amy, thank you.
Good afternoon. Amy Grafton from the Belvedere Area Chamber of Commerce. As we go into this mitigation stage on Saturday, I just want to remind you all that we understand that this is not an ideal situation for our businesses. I know that everybody feels like they had just started to get back on their feet again, and now we're being hit with this. So I just want to remind everyone out there that we do have the grants available through DCEO. There's links on our chamber website. There's links on Forward Boone County. There's information about the business interruption grant. There's been $220 million made available for businesses in Illinois. $70 million of that money has been set aside for areas and special zip codes. And now that our area has hit this elevated risk, the applications for our Region 1 are taking precedence over other applications. So Just a reminder, if you need information on where to locate information on these grants, how to apply, if you have questions as the mitigation process starts on Saturday and you're not sure on how to operate your business or what you can do or what you can't do, please call the chamber. We can help you with those questions and answer any of those things that you're worried or wondering about. Thank you so much. I'd like to introduce Pam Lopez from Growth Dimensions.
Thank you, Amy. I'm Pamela Lopez, Executive Director to Growth Dimensions Economic Development for Belvedere, Boone County. As everyone has indicated, this is hurting our businesses, and our goal is not only to attract business to the area, but how we can help our businesses sustain their business here and help them grow. So back in April, maybe even March of this year, we worked with many of our partners that some of them are with us to help form Forward Boone. Is a group of leaders working together to address some of the challenges that we've had through this COVID. We've actually had resources that we're sharing on our website, through Facebook, and a lot of our webinars that we're sharing through the Forward Forum webinars. We've actually had 3, and since Friday, focusing on mitigation and what this means to our area. So moving forward, we are working with the state and trying to provide information about what resources are available. There is a webinar tomorrow. That link will be that people can register for is on the Forward Boone website. You can also access that Forward Boone website through any of our partners that are here with us today through their websites. We also are coordinating a webinar on Monday at 3 p.m., specifically talking about Boone County and resources available and questions that may be related to Boone County businesses. So we encourage that people continue to go to the website for resources, information, latest stats, how we can help support you, and even if they want some recommendations and maybe some support that they may need as far as mentoring business to business, we will help support that. So again, refer you to our Forward Boone website at www.forwardboone.org. Thank you. Mayor.
Thanks, Pam. So, as you can see, we have always been looking forward to see what was coming next, and we didn't really expect this, but we were prepared for it and what we were going to do if it happened, and it's happened. So, as a team, all of the information that can be pushed out about the grants is available on all of our websites. We are doing special webinars. Agnes Masnick with DCEO was kind enough to offer to do that, and we'll do it as many times as we need to till people get the information that they need. And we do, as a mitigated region, have an access. We kind of move the front of the line a little bit. And there's quite a bit of money, but I would say that sooner is better. Businesses can apply online. On the city website, if you go to the city website and you want to click to that link, there is also a button on the city website that will translate into over 100 languages. I think the ones that were most common need here is our Hispanic community. So those who have some difficulty with English can use that, and it will translate all of the materials on the website, including this, to that. We also have other assets through the health department. If Spanish-speaking folks and business people need to have some extra help, and we're there to do that help. We feel that we can best achieve our goal by getting the community's commitment to ending this as soon as possible. I mean, if we can do this thing and get this done in a week or 2 weeks and take a different look at it, of course, we will be lumped in with the rest of the region, which is what it is. So first we'll clean up our house, and then we'll see what we can do to help everybody else going forward, and as a region and as a state and as a country, because this is an issue for all Americans, and we all need to work together to get past this as soon as possible. Amanda, did you have any closing comments today?
Great, sure. Thank you so much, Mayor Chamberlain. I just want to thank the community for tuning in to us this afternoon. I want to remind everybody of our 3 W's. So wear a mask, watch your distance, and wash your hands. The really basic steps we can take to slow the spread of this virus. We are in this not only for ourselves and our families, but we're in this for our neighbors, we're in this for our community, we're in this for our hospitals and our healthcare workers and our first responders who have been working tirelessly since the spring. I really want to thank our businesses for continuing to weather this storm with us. We hear you, we are listening. My department will continue to commit to working on what we need to do locally and escalating any concerns or issues directly to the state. We will work as closely as we can with our state partners, and we will let them know what we're seeing here locally. We will make sure that they're aware if we have any questions or concerns, and we will continue our commitment to Boone County. Thank you.
Anybody else have any other things they want to share? We'll open up to questions from the media.
Ms. Graff, can you kind of got into this a little bit along with all of you really, but can you kind of go into specifically what has really changed for businesses when it comes to grants, or are there any new things they can approach now? You mentioned it's going to be very difficult to rely on outdoor seating, you know, especially with the weather changing. So what are the things that they can now do that maybe they couldn't do earlier when it comes to getting help?
Yeah, so with the grants, with the second big grant wave being available, there are different types of businesses that have been added to this. So for instance, there's entertainment, there's a couple of, I'm sorry, I don't have the list off the top of my head, but if you look on the DCO website, you can look at like the 6 new business types that have been added to that list. So additional assistance has been made for them that weren't qualified in the first round.
Got it. So nothing particularly new, but more for the fact that because of our regional mitigation, any of those applications will kind of be given higher priority then.
Yeah, so it just opens it up to a broader group, and like we had mentioned earlier, with our area being at an elevated risk, those applications in our region are taking precedence over others. So we encourage people to continue to use the outdoor dining as long as the weather allows us to, and then hopefully we can get this problem taken care of sooner rather than later and get us back indoors.
And you guys, both the city and the county kind of touched on this, but is there going to be any new type of help to come in? I know it's really hard to do that and really hard to kind of have plans set in place, you know, this early into mitigation strategies being announced, but is there anything possibly new coming to give businesses and particularly restaurants in the area a helping hand going forward?
I'll address that. So we have some questions we need answered. We found out that they're going to use the federal guidelines instead of the state guidelines for the cures funding, which, you know, all of us were assigned a number that we were going to get. Our accounting firm came to us a couple of weeks ago and told us we could basically claim just about anything that's occurred during COVID that was for the operation of our city. And so then we were told, well, the state guidelines say you have to do 84 pounds of paperwork for everything. So we were having to see, okay, how do we go about that? Then we heard yesterday that they're using the federal guidelines, so it's an easier way to claim the benefits. And one of the things that we're pursuing now is we're going to check and see if any of those dollars we might be able to use within our community with the city to help some of our businesses. We don't know yet whether that's possible. If it is, we will establish a program within the city framework, the county framework, to be able to use those dollars. Every day we look at everything that comes across our digital screen to see potential and possibility, and we're lobbying every day. I know that I'm very active in the municipal league, and they're in the governor's office every day fighting for us to try to have sensible rules made and open up funding in a way that people can apply in a timely basis and receive funding in a timely basis. The first round of funding went very badly because the applications were difficult, the time frames to complete the applications were too short, and then getting the money didn't happen. And so that was been very difficult. But I think all of us are on the same team in the regional, the 9-county region, and so governments and cities are working with one another, anything new that we can find out that can speed up this process. So the answer is we will do everything that we can. We are well aware of how dreadful this is to have opened up and then to shut down again. So let's just all agree that once we get this thing taken care of, that we'll, until we really get past all of it, that we won't put ourselves in a position to have to shut down again, because every time we shut down, more of our businesses are not going to be able to open up regardless of the funding cycle or anything else. So first of all, we got to take care of our health, and then we'll worry about the rest of it as it shakes out. Anybody else want to comment on that?
We have, the Growth Dimensions has established a program called the Venture Program, and this was a program to provide training for new and aspiring entrepreneurs and existing entrepreneurs. We were very fortunate that we received scholarships for everyone to participate in this program. But part of the intention of this program was to help develop a plan for businesses to sustain their business during challenging times like this. So we're hoping that this training will be able to provide those existing entrepreneurs with some plans for resources, not only for the short term, but for the long term, and again, to weather through these difficult times. And I know though these, some of these discussions are very preliminary, we are reaching out to some of the companies that provided those scholarships with other opportunities, maybe to help identify resources that might be available for new businesses, and that would be great if we can match some of the funds that are available with our elected bodies. So, thank you.
I have a question for you, Amanda. Based on your conversations with the other regions or the other counties' public health administrators and analyzing the COVID trends around the region, how long could we be looking at being in these mitigation strategies for?
So as I had mentioned before, we have to, as a region, achieve a positivity rate of 6.5%, and we have to be at or below that for 3 consecutive days. So the sooner we do that, the sooner we come out of mitigation. After a period of 14 days, if our numbers continue to increase or if we are not able to get that positivity rate down, then it is my understanding from what has been shared through the Illinois Department of Public Health and the Governor Pritzker's office that potentially additional mitigations and restrictions would be put into place. So I can't stress enough how important it is that we work really hard to work on our rates, to do what we need to do to mask up and socially distance and wash our hands and stay with our family and household contacts only, not attend big social gatherings, not put ourselves and others at risk, because that could prolong this process, and we don't want to see additional restrictions put into place after a 14-day time period.
We're going to be in this for at least, a couple of weeks for sure, if not longer.
It would be really hard for me to say for sure today how long that we'll be in this, but we do have to get to 6.5% and then sustain that for 3 consecutive days. So we know that we're looking at least a handful of days at the very minimum. We're seeing rates rise across the region, not only in Boone County, but in Winnebago, in DeKalb, and Ogle, and many of our other jurisdictions within the region, and so the numbers are trending in the wrong direction. So we have an opportunity right now to try to curb that and then make that move in the right direction, lower those rates.
Question two, also for you, Ms. Mayor, as well. So just since I was picking on that point as well, the numbers of the positivity rate here in Boone County going up. So in Region 1, Boone County actually has the highest positivity rate in the region. So I just want to know, so what exactly is being done to help to bring these numbers back down so that these mitigation efforts could be relaxed?
So the current positivity rate in Boone County stands at 9%, which is high. It is higher than many of our counterpart counties here in the Rockford region. So the health department continues to ramp up its contact tracing efforts. We do have bilingual contact tracers speaking English and Spanish to our community members. We are finding that the test turnaround time through the state lab has been decreasing, so that is assisting us in getting to people quicker. We have worked with the state health department to deploy a series of mobile testing unit sites that are actually, as we speak, President Costanza mentioned, we do have a mobile testing unit up in Poplar Grove at the Fire Station District 3 until 5 p.m. This afternoon. So for those of you that are tuning in live, you can go up and get tested if you feel like you've been exposed, if you're experiencing a symptom, or general population is also welcome to get tested. We know that we have a growing number of individuals who are what we call asymptomatic asymptomatic carriers, people who are carrying the virus and do not show any symptoms, the more that we can get a better pulse on exactly what our most accurate positivity rate is in the general population, the better sense we'll have of what direction we need to be headed as a region.
I think you all kind of hinted at this a little bit, and I'm not sure who would want to take this, but I guess what is your kind of final message to the community here? You know, we're facing a really difficult stretch here going forward, but a pivotal one at that. What is your message to the community? What do they need to do to get this, get through these mitigation factors as fast as possible?
Wear a mask, wash your hands, stay 6 feet apart. That's been the mantra from the beginning, and if we'd all done that, we wouldn't be here now. The other thing is, this is past being something that's annoying. This is something so real, and you've seen this because we thought we had gone the distance and we were getting better. So, in spite of the inconvenience, in spite of the challenges, please help us do that. I've even gotten to the point, because I started out with my grandkids singing the alphabet song when I wash my hands, so I make sure I wash them long enough. Stay in your squad. You know, if there's a group of people that you get with on a normal basis, I really have 2 squads. I have the City Hall squad and the government squad, and then I have the home squad. And so I honestly, when I go out in public, I always wear a mask, unless it's something that's a public event that I know I'm going to be 10 or 15 feet away from somebody. And I think that we need to respect our businesses and obey when they say you can't come in without a mask. Don't try to go in. Also, I would encourage everybody in our community to do what we did when the onset of this came. Go pick up food. It started out as takeout Tuesdays, and then it became takeout every night. And I will share this with you, that our sales tax numbers really didn't suffer year over year because of that. You know, a lot of times people talk, well, Belvedere doesn't have any really nice restaurants. We have a few now, and they suffered. But our fast food restaurants saved us because people went. I mean, everywhere you went, it was going to be 5 cars or 10 cars or 30 cars if it's Culver's, because it's always 30 cars at Culver's. But so the community has responded. We got a breath of fresh air, and now we got to buckle down again to move forward to get rid of this finally for us. And it's not going to be easy for anybody. We understand that. We are going through that with our families every day and every night too. We live in the same world that you do. I wish we had perfect answers. We don't. I can just share with you that everybody in this room has great concern for all of the people in all of our communities, and that we know that this is going to be even tougher with holidays coming up. My wife and I sat down, and we're not going to have 30 people for dinner this year. We're going to have the old folks at our house, and I'm one of those now. I get to be an old folk now. But then we're going to get together in smaller groups with our grandkids and our great-grandkids. And I think people need to start thinking about that, because holidays are when everybody gets together, and you may not have seen people in a while, and you're going to be with your grandpas and grandmas and great-grandpas and grandmas, and they're folks that are at risk, and you don't want to do that, as hard as that may be. So there are little things, and it's just being thoughtful, and it's maybe saying, you know, I really don't need to party tonight. I know that's hard, but we need everybody's cooperation and help, because this is not going to go away until we all do those things. And the resources are here for you. We have every resource that's available. And if anybody thinks of one or finds out about one that we don't know about, please share with us. I'm on calls with the Winnebago County mayors and chairs on a regular basis. R1 Regional Planning Commission, this is a topic that gets discussed every day and reached out to cities in the region. So we're all trying to help one another, because in our 9-county region, we all have to do better before we're going to get out of this. Amanda, was there anything else that I missed?
I would just say that the longer that this goes on and the more tired that our community gets, that I think what is a good thing to keep in mind is, if you can figure out what your focus is. What's your why? Like, why are you masking up? Why are you following the guidelines? Why are you doing this? And it's going to be different for everybody. Maybe it's because you have an elderly grandma at home. Maybe it's because you don't want your favorite local restaurant to close its doors for good. Maybe it's because you lost a family member to COVID-19. Maybe it's because you're struggling with mental health issues because of this pandemic and because it's raging on. Maybe it's because you know somebody who has lost their job because of COVID-19. I think everybody has a different reason why this has been hard. So when you mask up every day and when you wash your hands and when you stay with your household contacts only and when you stay 6 feet apart from people in the store, remember that you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for your specific why, and you're doing it for the people around you, because we're all struggling in this. So we're gonna have to pull ourselves out of this together. I think that's really important. I think the longer this goes on, it should be less about what you're hearing from us up here and more about what's gonna keep you going the longer we have to deal with this. What's your why? What are you focused on? We don't want to lose our businesses. We don't want to lose family members. We don't want to be stuck in our homes only. We don't want to be away from our families during the holidays. So pick your why or your whys. Let's focus on it and let's get this work done. There has been incredible work done in this community. A lot of our businesses have stepped up. We are seeing a lot of mask compliance. We are seeing a lot of hard work, and we really don't like the fact that now we have to make our businesses feel like they're being punished. So we are doing this to support our business community. When you mask up, you're supporting the local economy. Please help us with that. This is really important, and we thank everybody.
Anybody else? Well, thank you all. Thanks for taking your time to come over here today and help us inform the community. It's an important service that you provide.